Welcome back to another episode of Cancer Baby Podcast. And I am sitting here with Meco B, Novelette Queen. And I have her newest book,
Gangstanese.
Gangstanese. And she's here to talk to us a little bit about it. But before she gets into that, she's going to let us know a little bit about her so we'll know, so we can meet the author.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you don't mind me asking, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself in the sense of what made you want to begin writing. And I say that because I love the novelette, you putting that in your name.
Right. So originally I wanted to be an actress. So I went to college and majored in theatrical drama. But then I had babies. So that kind of put a hold on the whole active and creative thing. But I've always written poetry. I used to rap back in the day. It was Lady Producto.
What? So yeah. A little bit of the author, the rapper, the actress.
That's right.
Okay.
And so I've always been a bit of a creative person.
Yeah.
And then I decided to do maybe a play. I was like, maybe I should do like a play or do some script writing or something like that. So while I was working at AT&T in about, I think it was like maybe 2016-ish, I started writing a little play. And I would just write and let my coworkers, I would read it to them often, and they would be like, oh, yeah, I love it, and I want to be this character and stuff like that.
Oh, that's nice.
So I said, you know what? I don't think I really want to be in the limelight on front of the camera like that anymore. I think I want to write. So I was going to take a writing class, and then I just said, I think I'll just do it on my own. And so during COVID, I was at home. We were all working from home. I was still with AT&T, but I had more time on my hands. So I said, well, I'll go ahead and just see what happens. I started writing. I started going to the Black Writers Convention, and I just kept getting pointers and tips and wind up writing it.
Writing this book.
That book.
Wow. Okay. Yep. That is completely amazing. And then you said that so essentially it stemmed from wanting to be an actress, and then you realize, hey, I want to work behind the scenes.
That's right.
And the only reason why I find that fascinating is because I promise you, that is my story.
Really?
I promise to God. I went to Georgia State University, and I know this is about you, and I'm making sure you keep it on you.
You're fine.
But I just wanted to show the similarity of, especially when you said a couple of things, and so that you know that a lot of people that are going to listen to this may also have the same story.
Right.
So I went to Georgia State University and got married. Kids happened, but I majored in film and video, minored in journalism. And so when the children came, like writing, doing anything went on the back burner.
That's right.
I didn't have time to do any of that. And when COVID came, I started doing other things, not writing, but like more podcasting, like you said.
Yeah.
So COVID, I think, enhanced a lot of.
It did. A lot of people.
A lot of people's lives, and gave us, I feel like, the opportunity to do that thing we always wanted to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So wow. And with the play that you first wrote,
yes,
do you still go back and kind of pull from some of those characters? Because I know you said your coworkers wanted to be certain characters. Do you kind of go back and pull a little bit?
I didn't, but what I do want to do, I think I'm going to incorporate a couple of the characters into the sequel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking about that. So
that would be nice, because that was one of my questions I wanted to ask you. Mm-hmm. Where did you get, or what was your idea for the characters in this book? Were they loosely based on people, and you changed the name to protect the innocent? or was it like completely fictional and it came straight from your imagination?
It was completely fictional, and it was from my God-given imagination.
You are truly a creator.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Yeah, because you also do you still do poetry?
No, I really don't write poetry anymore. I got away from that probably in college, so it's been a while. I feel like I still can, though. Definitely.
Of course you can. Of course you can. And then the title, which is different. It's not your, I don't know, I saw him and I love him part.
right.
Part 1 and then part 2. What made you think of or create this title?
So I actually Googled, I just kept Googling like female gangsters. What's another word for female gangster? And I kept coming up with the same old stuff over and over and over. And I was just like, I want it to be something different. I want it to be completely different. And to be honest with you, I, when I Google this today, I cannot find it. It is so weird. I cannot find it. Like when I Google the way I did, like female gangster, Gangstanese doesn't come up as much anymore. So I don't know where it came from or how it did, but it was like the black What is that black? Not the black Webster, but it's like the, I don't want to say hood vocabulary, but it's one of those where you look up slang.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
mhm.
I can't think of it
Now
to
I
save
can't think
my.
of it either. It's Jesus
Dang.
Christ.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
Too.
You look up slang and it gives you like all
What it
the,
means?
yeah, it
Yeah.
gives you all the slang terms. That's where it came from.
Hmm.
It said female gangster and it said gangstanese, and I said, I like that, so I just went with it.
I do. I like it as well. And then my next question I wanted to ask is because a lot of times I won't say us in the African American community, but a lot of times we kind of get put in that stereotype of a particular look or a particular, oh, we have to not necessarily write gangster stories,
Right.
but you do have a lot of gangster shows, movies, plays, books, all that coming out. But this seems like it doesn't leave you there. Like you kind of get to you get it, but then you get why, you get the backstory, and then you get okay. Now we want to do something else. That's
Right.
what I got from it.
Okay.
So I'm saying that to say I think that personally, I think that's a good approach because it doesn't leave us there.
Right.
And I know a lot of people want to read the book.
Yeah.
So I'm treading very lightly.
Right. To say too much.
Yeah. I'm treading very lightly, but that was my take on it, and I really do appreciate you for that because it kind of like okay,
Right.
it pulls you like okay, like this is something else that we can also talk about as well. But for those of us, I don't want to give anything away, and I want to be careful. So can you tell
Sure.
us?
Sure. So the book itself, and the reason why I call it a novelette because it has 4 short stories in it, and they all tie together. So the very first story is about a girl named Peaches James. Peaches is in high school, but she's always admired. Her hero was a hood rich chick, and she was young, and her boyfriend went and did time, and she wind up, holding him down, and she wind up becoming the boss in the street. So, she was hood rich, and everybody knew who she was. Everybody loved her and feared her. And so Peaches wanted to be that. She was like, I love that lifestyle. I love everything about her. She's beautiful. She's strong. She's powerful. She's black. I just love everything about her. So she starts to set herself up to become self made. And she starts putting in different plays, different, attempts to what she's going to do and how she's going to figure out how to become there. And she winds up running into her, and she gives her a few little pointers and tips. And so that story basically tells you how she gets there, why she wanted to get there, and then the trouble that comes along with it.
Right, which is interesting because I remember a time because I'm from Georgia.
Okay.
So I remember a time in Georgia we had and it reminds me so much of it. Okay.
That's right, because I'm from here.
Yes. That's the feeling you get. And I cannot explain it unless you're from Atlanta.
Right.
But it was like this era.
It was.
Yes, where it was like, and I wouldn't say like gangster, but it was like you would see people move so differently in a way that even if it was the guy that was like the forefront person, whatever, but you always knew it was somebody behind, a woman behind him.
That's right.
That was either taking care and holding the stuff down and all this and the third, but that it gives me that whole Atlanta 90s type vibe.
Yes.
I can't put it in words. I'm not like you.
But you got it though. You got it.
It do.
And that's good because that's the feel I'm going for. So.
Oh, it's feeling. you do, yes, that's definitely feeling. And I'm telling you, because like I said, I'm from Atlanta, and my dad, he was all over Atlanta, and like that nuance or that when you read certain things and it take you back
Yeah.
to moments that only you know. Because when I was little, I was a kid then, but you can kind of be like, I remember.
Nostalgia.
Yes.
Yes.
That now only people can read about, but
Yeah.
so I'm glad you put it on paper.
Good. Thank you.
But I'm sorry, continue.
No, you're good. So the second story is a modern day Cain and Abel. It is about two twins. One, of course, the good twin. She is smart. She graduates top of her class. She even goes on to go to law school. The other twin, popular, captain of the cheerleading squad, always going to parties, always hanging out. And they actually have turmoil and beef between each other. Um, and so the one that was the good girl, she grows up and goes to law school and does very well for herself. And the other one that was the party girl winds up going to chase her dream in New York and gets on drugs and winds up going down a bad path. Um, and then something in the book happens and it makes them have to cross each other's path again. But the event that happens in the book causes the good girl to completely flip out, and that is more about mental health and mental awareness because she went completely opposite, and you would be surprised to find out who her character turns out to be. And she's the one that she winds up going to prison, and she winds up doing a lot of time, and next thing you know, she is the head of her cell block, and she's running things in her cell block. And she was never an outgoing person. She was never a mean person, never spirited, any of that. But all of a sudden, now she's this boss in prison.
Look at that. That's how we remember your grandma used to say, better watch that one.
Yeah, that's right. The quiet ones do it to you. You're right.
I'm telling you, this book is a vibe. It's a vibe. Each it's a vibe. You have to check it out. And then you wanted to go on. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. And so the third story is about a black female that is graduating high school, and her goal is to set out to be the first black female Navy SEAL. So they didn't have any female Navy SEALs for a very long time. Right now they have a couple, but they're not really active. But that was her goal. So, she was in ROTC the whole time, and she, loved her ROTC leader. He was somebody that coached her and trained her up and how she was going to have to be tough enough to become a Navy SEAL. She gets accepted, and she gets accepted into the school, and she's busting it. Like, she's coming out top rank whenever they have their different tests and different things that they got to do. She's coming out on top, marksman, with the guns, and she's doing really good. But the guys don't like that, and mostly the white male guys, they don't like it, and stuff like that. So they decide to come up with a plan to try to knock her off her high horse, so to speak. And what they do in the book to her causes her to decide that she is going to get them back, but she goes AWOL and she becomes a trained assassin.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mode.
That's right. And then the last story is about a guy named Trigger. He in and out of trouble a lot, but he winds up becoming, once he gets out of prison, he winds up crossing paths with an Italian mafia gangster, the head of the Italian gangster, Italian mob. And so the guy has a soft spot for him. And so he says, when you get a chance, holler at me or whatever. And he winds up raising him along with his kids. And he also is the trigger person for them. He's an assassin for the Italian mob. And eventually, him and the lady that was in the Navy SEAL in the previous story, they wind up falling in love. Aww. So the last one is a love story, but all of the stories wind up actually tying together. So you have to get the sequel.
And I can't wait. And I can't wait. Which character do you, because I may not write, but I know sometimes you still kind of relate or kind of be close to one. Which character you think you are kind of leaning close to, like,
Right. I don't know. I don't.
I know they all your babies.
They are. I love them all. And I guess if I had to choose, it'd probably be Peaches. It'd probably be Peaches. Yeah, she was looking for that glamorous lifestyle, and she wanted the fame and the cars and the clothes and all of that. And when I wanted to be an actress, that's what I wanted. So I guess Peaches would probably be the main one.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
knew it was one. I knew it was one. Well, thank you so very much for sharing the book with us and letting us know. But if people want to order it, how do they order it?
So it is on Kindle, Amazon
Okay.
Kindle. You can go on your Amazon Kindle, put in Gangstanese. You'll be able to get it. I think it's about $6 on there. Or you can get it directly from me. I'm revamping my website.
Okay.
So go to my Instagram, which is Meco B, Novelette Queen.
And this is the cover, so you know exactly what you're going to click on. So I just wanted to make sure I show you guys that. And I want to thank you so very much for coming and talking. You have to come back with the sequel.
Definitely,
And I'm telling
definitely.
you, this book, I'm telling it vibes so 90s
I am so
Atlanta.
glad you enjoyed it.
Each character, even down to the last one being an assassin, and then with the young lady like trying to break that glass ceiling, and like, you know what? I'll be back.
Right.
Like, y'all can have this. I'll be back my way.
That's right.
Like, yeah, and to be quite honest, that's what a lot of us are still doing. Like, if you're working in a corporate job, it's like we're almost there to the I'll be back.
That's right. That's right.
So you get that very well.
Yes, ma'am.
But I want to thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh, no.
I appreciate you.
It's no problem.
Yes, ma'am.
And thank y'all for tuning in again for another episode of Cancer Baby Podcast. And we'll see you next time.